And joining us now is Chief National Correspondent at Voice of America, Steve Herman. He is also the author of Behind the White House Curtain, a senior journalist story of covering the president and why it matters. Steve, thanks for coming on with us. You described VOA as a vehicle to tell America's story to the world. Take us back to when you learned it was being gutted and how you make sense of the why any administration would want to do this.
Anna, thank you. I cannot answer the why, and I'm only speaking here for myself, but I can share with you that my colleagues are saddened and shocked and as dismayed as you are about what has happened to the Voice of America since Saturday. There's been no new programming, nothing put up on the website. Voice of America, as we speak, you can say it's either dead or in a very deep coma.
China and Russia are celebrating. Chinese state media is saying, Chinese state media says Voice of America has now been discarded by its own government like a dirty rag and will become a laughing stock of the times. Russian state media commentator calling VOA far-left propaganda. And I just want to note that last night, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard actually shared those comments. But you call this a national security issue. Explain.
Yes, because that void is going to be filled by the voices of Beijing, Moscow, Pyongyang, and Tehran. They're already out there very aggressive on the airwaves, on social media. And without the Voice of America, that voice of accuracy, of responsibility, of discussing America's values is going to be lost.
For people who are unfamiliar with Voice of America, can you just describe the work that's being done within Voice of America and why it's so vital?
Yes, we broadcast in about 50 languages. Our first language was German. We don't broadcast in German anymore because it depends on what is the situation in the world. Hitler called the Voice of America those Cincinnati liars because the first transmitting facility was just north of Cincinnati in Ohio. And when I go all over the world, I hear praise from the people who listen and watch us, but we hear condemnations from authoritarian regimes. I remember in Burma, the Voice of America and Radio Free Asia were called lizard media. I'm not sure exactly what that means. But that's the sort of dichotomy in the response. And we're not only telling America's story to the world. In fact, we're mandated by law to do that. But also, I like to say, VOA is or was one of the very few news organizations in the world mandated by law to be free and unbiased, fair and balanced.
Accuracy, truth, all of those key pillars of journalism, I know, is what you are representing in places that don't respect that. You personally have been singled out for your work. Earlier this month, you were put on extended excused absence. And my understanding is Voice of America's parent company, the U.S. Agency for Global Media, led by Trump ally Kari Lake, opened an investigation into you because of some of your social media activity that was seen as critical of the Trump administration. What were you told, and how do you respond to their allegations?
Well, it was very interesting in the letter that I received February 28th, putting me on this paid leave status in which I remain. The letter quoted a new executive order signed by the president a couple weeks before that, referring to the foreign policy of the United States and anyone who works in the Foreign Service, as I do, who was deemed not to be loyal to the president's foreign policy could be suspended or worse. So I am skeptical that it really has anything to do with my social media, and anyone can go check out my social media. I think the only opinions I've ever put on social media is about pizza toppings. I'm against pineapple, by the way.
I love Hawaiian pizza.
Whether it's, the president's quotes I've put on there hundreds and hundreds of times, whoever is president, and opposition politicians here on Capitol Hill, as well as the opinions and actions of NGOs and civil rights organizations who are reacting to public policy. That's what we're mandated by law to do.
Well, Steve Herman, appreciate you coming on to share about Voice of America, its impacts of it going away, and the important work that's being done there. Thanks so much for the mission and being part of it.